Darling, it's better down where it's wetter, take it from me.
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You think about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Just look at the world around you.
What?
Go with her, go!
Oh, I think do it with her?
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Just look at the world around you, down here on the ocean floor. Such beautiful things surround you. What more could you add? I can't. No, we're not. You know what? That's good.
Yeah,
I'm
that
done
works.
with it.
So, we're making walnut crusted salmon today. So, what you're gonna need for today's recipe is, you're gonna need some walnuts. The ones we have here are already cut up, but we're gonna cut them up a little bit more. Some Dijon mustard, salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, mustard powder, and dill. And then a lemon. This is gonna be a super easy dish. It's one of my favorites. So what you're gonna want to start with is go ahead and season the fish itself with salt and pepper on both sides. Because salmon can tend to be one of those fish that's really just bland on its own if you don't season it properly. So you want to make sure you really get in there with it. Okay, so we got that nice and seasoned really well. I'm gonna wash my hands off. So now that we've got this seasoned, just really quick, on some sort of baking tray, I'm gonna get some parchment paper or tin foil rolled out. Doesn't have to look pretty. Then we're just gonna plop that fish down. Anything that's hanging over, just tear that off so that people can see what you're cooking for your cooking show. Alright, so what you're going to want to do next is take your Dijon mustard. You just want to give that a light brush across the top of the fish. Make sure you get this spread out pretty good over it, because this is what our walnuts are going to be sticking to. And get the sides too. Alright, so we're going to put this to the side for a minute while we take care of our walnuts. So you're going to want to start by preheating your oven to 400 degrees too now while we take care of the walnuts, so it should be there by the time you've got all this done. So what I'm going to do is, since I have a food processor, we're just going to chop it up in that, but you can do this all by hand. I'm going to hit the walnuts with a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. And then all of our spices. Just give it a nice healthy portion of all that in there. I'm also going to hit it with a squeeze of lemon juice. And then a little glug of whatever oil you want to use. Here I'm using avocado oil. You can use olive, vegetable, it really doesn't matter. We're gonna give that a good mix up here before we start chopping it up. Remember, the important thing here is you want some well-seasoned nuts for this dish, okay? If your nuts aren't well-seasoned, there's no point. You're just wasting your time on your nuts. So now we're gonna start chopping up our nuts, and we're gonna just pulse it up a little bit. You wanna get them small, but not super fine into like a powder. If you don't have a food processor like I do, you can just run your knife through them, chop them up. Walnuts are a really soft nut, so it should be easy for you to cut it up if you have a halfway decent chef knife. You just want to run your knife through it a couple times like I do anytime we use garlic on the show. Just like that. Check out some of our previous episodes to see how we do that. Okay, so we've got nice chopped up nuts here. Get that out. So this is about what you want your nuts to look like. They're, you know, it's more of a personal preference how fine you want them to be. You know, if you like bigger chunks of nuts when you're eating it, don't chop them up this fine. If you want them smaller, go smaller, but don't go all the way to the powder because then it'll kind of ruin the effect of it. So now we have these all chopped up and seasoned. We're gonna put them onto our salmon. But first, I'm gonna cut 2 small lemon circles to have the salmon rest on while we bake it. And what this is gonna be doing is just gonna be adding some nice aromatics to the fish while it cooks. Sounded like I was gonna say something else there, didn't I? All right, so we've got our fish resting on our lemon. So now, you're gonna get your hands a little bit dirty here, but that's fine. If you don't like cooking with your hands, you shouldn't be cooking. So now we're just gonna press our walnuts down onto our salmon until they form a nice crust. It is so much quieter in here today.
You're supposed to be the one talking. It's your cooking show.
There's nothing for me to talk about.
Make a joke or something.
I don't know. My producers want me to make a joke, so here's a joke. Knock, knock. Who's there? Nobody. Oh, who's knocking on my door? Boo, it's a ghost. Ha!
You're so lame sometimes.
Alright, so now we've got a nice crust on our fish here. Press down pretty evenly over the whole thing. And we're just gonna leave this in the oven 15 to 20 minutes until the fish starts to become nice and flaky. Alright, and we will check back in 15 minutes. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes now. We're gonna take our fish out of the oven. This out of the way. Okay, so you can see here, we've got a nice crust that started to brown up really nice around the edges. So what we're gonna do, while it's still hot, we're gonna hit it with a little bit of salt over the top. Not a lot, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna start the plate. All right, so. You can see how it's already starting to fall apart as we're plating it. That's how you know it's nice where we want it. And drop it on there. I'm gonna add some lemon on there for garnish. So it looks nice and pretty. Then our secret weapon is coming back out. Good old parsley flakes. And there is your walnut crusted salmon. Now for the taste test. It's just falling apart. It's so lemony and seasoned so perfectly. I don't even like fish really, but I love this dish. That's how much you're gonna love it and how much you should want to cook this. Thank you for coming to this week's episode of Cooking in College. Remember, make this dish, send it to the Jag TV Instagram page, and we'll post the good ones. See you guys next week. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe.